wolf pack, it grew by one. So were there were two of us in the wolf pack. I was alone first in the pack, and then Doug joined in later.
Hey, look at this. There's both of us. What's up, Sean?
Finally in the pack.
This is what Sean looks like, guys. He is not just a voice.
I'm not just a pretty voice. I'm also a pretty face.
All right, so this was the announcement I was telling you about. We're together here in the old homestead of Sean. So let's go back and talk about free agency. Obviously, to start this off, we got to talk about the biggest news story, the free agency lately, Mr. Deshaun Jackson. What do you think, man? Being the Skins fan, what do you think about Mr. Gangbang?
You know, honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people probably are going to say this could be a risky pickup and be worried about that. But I'm going to tell you right now, the Skins got immediately better picking up Deshaun Jackson.
Yep.
With Pierre taking the brunt of the load last year, everyone was knocking RG3, but honestly, he had nobody to throw the ball to other than Pierre. We didn't even have a healthy tight end most of the year. So adding a three-time Pro Bowler like Deshaun Jackson with that breakaway speed, he can spread the field on you. They're going to have to respect the deep threat. Skins are definitely a better team right now without him even taking a single snap, stepping on the field as a Redskin. I like it.
That's true. The question is, like we talked about at the gym today, if you got Pierre on one side, Deshaun on the other, and you brought in the guy from Carolina or from the Cardinals, what do you think about Santana? Do you think that I know they signed him to a 1-year deal? Do you think they keep him?
I keep Santana. I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember what the details of the deal were, but I'm looking at the fact that the Redskins have Deshaun Jackson now. We signed Andre Roberts, I believe, from the Cardinals. He's going to be a slot guy. We're going to have Leonard Hankerson coming back from injury, and then you've got Santana Moss. I just see that as a insurance policy for somebody else gets hurt. And honestly, I'd probably make Moss return punts.
And the other thing that now we talk about free agency and we keep with the Skins talk here. I see the Skins signed Colt McCoy. What does this mean for Kirk Cousins? You think they're going to trade him?
You know what? I was trying to figure out what the Skins were doing, bringing in Colt McCoy. I'm not a fan of this pickup, first and foremost. I don't see what that brings to the table at all, other than the fact that the Redskins are planning on doing something with Cousins. I think they're probably going to go ahead and deal him at the draft. And I know a lot of people are saying, you know what, why not just let him play out that contract, stay that last year on the roster. But honestly, I guess get something for him. Try to get a draft pick next year. I don't think the Skins will do anything this year because they don't really have the money to do much based on everything else they've done in free agency. I think they're going to trade Cousins for a draft pick for next year.
Yeah, because you said that the Skins are now in negative in the cap, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure based on the Deshaun Jackson deal. Also, I know the Skins signed Rob Jackson today. You know, you got to look at multiple free agents they've already brought in. So the Redskins are probably going to release a few more players before the start of the season. So they're definitely over the cap, and now they've got to make some adjustments. So you're going to see a few players, possibly Stephen Bowen, get cut shortly.
Yeah, and we talked about it earlier. We looked it up. For those of you wondering, you know, how could they pick up Deshaun and go in the negative? We found out that it's only up to the first game. So up until then, you know, the cap fluctuates. You can go in the negative. But as of the first game, you have to be under the cap.
Yeah,
so that's how that can happen, how Deshaun can be picked up and still be in the negative.
None of these numbers really matter until the first game. So, I mean, it's kind of like you're just playing with money until then. At that point, that's when it actually means something. But I don't know. Skins, you know, if you go back to our previous free agency show, I thought I was a little nervous about the Skins, didn't know what they were going to do. They always try to make some big splash. But looking at some of the names they brought in, Darren Hatcher from Dallas, I mean, current Pro Bowler, you're taking that guy away from one of your biggest rivals. And then Deshaun Jackson, I know there's a lot of other stuff playing into this, but the fact that you're taking him from another NFC East opponent, I mean, you are getting better and you're taking away from your NFC East rivals. I love it.
Yeah. Now let's switch over to the Lions. Like you said, if you go back to our previous free agency talk, I wanted T.J. Ward, I wanted Jason Avant, all these guys. We didn't get any of these guys. Instead, we get Golden Tate, you know, the number 2 receiver, number 1 if you consider with Sidney Rice being hurt most of the year. Not really a fan of that. If the Lions do draft a wide receiver in the first round, I'll be more excited about it. But you know, he is a 3rd receiver. He's a slot guy. So if they expect Golden Tate to be a number 2 guy, I'm not real excited about that. I guess the one good thing with Tate would be he has the highest drop percentage. You know, he rarely drops any passes, and that's really been our problem. Everyone wants to talk about Stafford being inaccurate, Stafford doing this and that. No one wants to ever blame the receivers. I don't understand that, but the receivers have been the last couple of years have been the top 5 in drop passes. So, you know, that's a good addition to get just for the drop factor. But you know, we picked up James Idhigbo. I don't know how you pronounce his last name, from the Ravens, which I think is a good pickup. I'm sad to see Delmas left. He went to Miami, but at least we picked up another big hitter to replace him. So hopefully he'll be good for year 2. And it was a really small deal for him too. I mean, it's really only guaranteed for the first year, and the option is for next year. So really, if it doesn't work out, or if we draft a safety or whatever, you know, and mold him in, we'll be good, because we got Glover Quinn on the other side. He'll be there. He signed a 5-year deal last year, so still got him for another 4 years. I mean, that's about it, man. We haven't really got that much free agency, but
Don't forget Dan Orlovsky.
oh fuck! Don't even get me started about this shit. Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'm just saying,
Dan,
don't forget him.
Dan, I know, but I almost forgot about that. I'm trying to erase this shit from my brain.
I will never let you.
How do you
forget
fucking pick up a guy that ran out of the back of the end zone purposely? I mean, I shouldn't say purposely. Obviously, he didn't think, hey, I'm going to run out of the back. But you know what I mean. How do you run out of the back of the end zone and not even realize it? I mean, and then how do you pick this guy up? This guy was part of 0-16. Then he went to the Colts and went 2-14, which they went like 0-13 before they finally won a game. Then he went to Tampa, which last year went like 0-10 before they won a game. How do you... This guy's... I'm not like superstitious or anything, but it's kind of ironic that this guy's been part of one 0-16 and pretty damn near close to 2 other ones. How do you fucking pick this guy up based on principle alone? I know we lost Sean Hill in free agency, but how do you pick up Dan Orlovsky out of all the fucking free agents left? How do you pick up that guy? And all these Lions fans and these people want to make excuses for this shit. I don't fucking care. None of it makes any... You don't pick this guy up based on principle. So...
The best part about Dan Orlovsky is if you watch the play where he runs out of bounds and he gets the safety, he's like 2 yards out of bounds and he's running sideways for almost 5-10 yards. And Jared Allen from the Vikings is just pointing and laughing the whole time. I mean, that is the most ridiculous play I've ever seen. I don't want to take a dig at my my Lions fan here, but I don't know how you feel good about that. I'll give you Colt McCoy right now just to make you feel better.
And what makes it worse, if he coming in to be the 3rd guy, then okay, whatever. He's never going to see the light of day. But the guy's going to be the backup. And I know Stafford's played every play for pretty much, except for he missed a little time against Tennessee in 2012. But other than that, he's played every play for the Lions. So hopefully he's got past his injury bug. But what if he doesn't? Are you kidding me that we're going to roll out Dan Orlovsky as our fucking starting quarterback? Just horrible. Can this offseason get any fucking worse? I swear to God, if we go in the first round and we trade up and draft some fucking bullshit tackle and it's not even Taylor Lewan, I'm gonna be pretty upset. But that's pretty much what's probably gonna happen at this point because everything else has gone wrong. But at least we picked up a good offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator. I'm happy about that, but I'm still less than impressed with the head coaching position. Hopefully he just stays the fuck away from Matthew Stafford.
So basically, comparing the Lions and the Redskins, we had a big free agency. We'll have no draft. They had, well, I don't know what you want to call their free agency. Basically,
Golden Tate, baby!
All right, basically no free agency, but they're probably going to have a good draft. So kind of opposite ends of the spectrum here. The Redskins did pick up pick up a few players like Ryan Clark, safety position. They did re-sign Brandon Merriweather. I know a lot of Redskin fans weren't big into that. But, you know, when it comes to the draft, the Lions can do all the talking. We're not going to have anything to talk about. So the draft show, you're going to see a different perspective
we're doing
from Kyle.
Yeah.
And then you'll see completely opposite perspective from me.
There won't be much Redskins talk.
There
on the
won't
draft
be
show.
much. We might as well just skip that. We'll go. Let's just talk about that next year.
But you brought up Ryan Clark. I want to bring this up real quick. What is everyone thinks Ryan Clark is a Steeler, but he was prior Redskin, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he was a Redskin. He was a Redskin for 2 years, I believe, and I'm pretty sure the Redskins let him go when they brought in Adam Archuleta.
Ooh, the former Ram.
I would like to say
Adam
that was
Archuleta.
a free agency acquisition that went well, but unfortunately, it was probably one of the worst in history.
But that's surprising because if you think about it, the Redskins are famous for having great free agencies.
Oh.
I mean, that year that they picked up what? Deion Sanders, Bruce Smith. I mean, are you kidding me? How do you get Deion Sanders and Bruce Smith in the same year? I mean, can you break that down? How does that happen?
Here's how you get both those players in free agency. They both know their careers are over, and they're stopping in Washington for one last paycheck. But that's the old Redskins. The new Redskins, we're signing current Pro Bowlers, Aaron Hatcher. We're signing 3-time Pro Bowlers, Deshaun Jackson.
Super Bowl champions and Ryan Clark.
Super Bowl champions, Ryan Clark. So hopefully the Redskins free agency woes, our Haynesworth style, are done. So.
Speaking of Haynesworth, let me ask you this: are you guys still paying Haynesworth, or is he already done?
No, he took his $40 million and walked. Okay. And I think we got 7 games out.
Hey, I do remember a famous play. Michael Vick was scrambling around, and Haynesworth, you know, he was real tired. He had a lot of play on that one, so he just took a nap on that one play.
Yep.
You know, I'll probably put a link down at the bottom if you guys don't remember that play. It's, you know, very famous in Redskins lore. You know, so all right. So
I mean, who doesn't take a nap during a play?
I don't know. I mean, the guy puts in so much effort. I mean, how do you pay a guy $100 million if he doesn't have effort?
Exactly.
His motor just continued to run.
His motor goes for 5 seconds, then it shuts off, takes a 30-second break, and then if the play's still going, maybe you get another 5 out of it.
Well, all right. So we'll finish this off. I have to ask you, as a Redskins fan, how does it feel to know that your team is racist?
Feels wonderful, actually. I don't know.
What do you think about the name change? Do you think they should change the name?
I don't know. You know, I'm not a Native American like my counterpart here, so I can't really, you know, I don't view it as racist. I know a lot of people do. Maybe that's insensitive of me. But do I think the Redskins are going to end up changing the name? Yep, I think eventually. This day and time, it's only a matter of time. I don't know. I think the Redskins are going to have to choose a different name, but it doesn't matter. As long as they keep the burgundy and gold, I'm with them all the way.
So, what do you think about Snyder's little? You know, he came out with that organization to help the Native Americans. What do you think about that?
I think that's.
Do you think it's just a ploy to try to get people to not think about the name?
That's Snyder being Snyder. He's always coming out with these wonderful ideas that never really make any sense to a normal person. So that's Snyder being Snyder. That little attempt at doing whatever it was to appease some folks that were being critical of Washington Redskins, that's not going to work. Skins are going to eventually change the name. I think it's just a fight they're not going to win. But you know what? If you're a true Redskins fan, what difference does it make? You know, suck it up, change the name, keep the burgundy and gold, and just, you know, move on.
Well, there he goes. All right, man. So that's pretty much it for the free agency talk. You know, we're pretty far into it, being April 4th today. So there's not much really that's going to happen unless we get another big... Well, I should say Chris Johnson got cut today. So, you know, wherever he goes, that'll be a big story. Another guy with questionable, you know, work ethic. Sometimes he's great, sometimes he's not. So we'll see where he goes. That's about it, man. Let's get off here, and we'll link the next video, too. We're going to do the draft video separately. That way, if you only care about one or the other, you don't have to sit through the same thing. So... for the free agency, just got to say, everyone have fun. Go Lions.
Go Skins.
All right, guys.